What's up, hackers? In this stream, I'm going to be talking about how to look deep and find DOM cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. Now, I remember doing a challenge beforehand. We're going to be using public firing range for this challenge, for these challenges, and we're going to be looking deep. We're going to be reading a lot of JavaScript. We're going to be finding. We're going to be using DevTools quite a bit because that's used for BugBountys quite a lot. Most underrated hacker tool. So let's start. I'm just going to sip my coffee. Okay, so we're going to be doing a lot of challenges for this round. This was just going to be a quick stream. Not going to be doing for long this time, but if we like, let's have a look from the very top at DOM cross-site scripting. Now let's have a look at XSS storage ones. Now XSS storage is obviously data that's been stored in your session. So if we look at this, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pressing Control-Shift-I to get our DevTools, and this is what it's going to look like. Just got some message just then. Let's just wait. And what we're going to be doing is reading this JavaScript code. So I'm going to be putting this over there, and I'm going to be expanding this window here. So obviously, let's look at the code right here, and let's evaluate it. Let's figure out what it's doing. So let's go to eval script. What's happening is it's checking to see the session storage has not got the value bad value. And then it's going to grab the session. It's going to grab that value out of the bad. Grab the bad value out of the session, and then it's going to just generate a math random. It's the random number that's going to put inside of the bad value. And that bad value, it could be a 0, 1. It could be just between. It's going to be less than 1 and greater than -1 and less than 1 inclusive, I think. Or it's between 0 and 1 basically. Between 0 and 1 inclusive. And then it's going to set that bad value to the payload, right? And then it's going to create a timeout. So it's going to trigger an asynchronous trigger. It's going to clear the session storage, and it's going to evaluate the payload, and then it's going to trigger the payload. So let's have a look at this. We're going to set a breakpoint at payload, and what we're going to do is we're just going to reload the page, and then we're going to go into the application storage. Let's let's go to the next breakpoint, next one, and let's go here. Now what we can find in the storage after I evaluate it is it's going to contain let's just wait, let's just try this again. Let's actually run it first, and let's have a look. So let's reload the page, and it's going to have this variable bad story. It should have bad value in there, but let's just reload this. .off application. I'm going to try and reload this again. For some reason it actually doesn't always come up with the bad value. It's a bit weird. I don't know why it does it, but let's have a look here. Let's refresh. Nothing there. Let's then check the evaluate payload, and we're just going to reload the session. We're going to go to application. We're going to refresh the page, reset columns. Nothing there yet. Let's just payload session. So we actually need to make sure that the bad value is not in there. Obviously, here you go. Here's the bad value here. The bad value is set to 0.25. And then actually it's saying that, the bad value isn't in there. It's going to set it, and then it's going to set the payload equal to bad value, and it's going to trigger that. Let's actually then go to here, and we'll right there. Excuse me, and then we'll go to public storage, refresh the page, reload the page, should be here somewhere. Select a value, preview. Let's then just forward this off maybe, and then we'll go there. No, it's not there for some reason. Let's just clear it off. Let's just get back into it again. Control-Shift-I, and let's just have a look at as we reload the page, it should come up with the value. Because it needs to be in the local storage. Because we can also just go payload. We're gonna go payload. We could go bad value. I'm pretty sure bad value. We could set payload, but we want to do it inside the local storage. So here's the local storage here. We can also set alert 1 in here, but that's not going to be the right one to do. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to be doing it in the application in here. We don't want to do it like that. We want to actually set it in the session. So we need to get the session equal to a value. So let's just try that out. Obviously it's getting set, but it's not getting set into the session. Let's have a look at here. Session storage, that's what we want. We want local storage, we want session storage. So let's have a look here. It should actually have a value somewhere. Let's clear this, let's refresh it. Let's try again. What we're going to do is just going to put this over the side here, and we're going to reload the page and see it, watch it live. So it is getting set there, but we need to set a breakpoint because it is getting set there, but we need to set a breakpoint. Let's evaluate it first. Let's reload it, and let's have a look into the application. Alright, right here, it's actually got the value there, and what we need to do is we need to type in alert 1. I'll do document.domain, and then we'll evaluate that. And then what happens here is when we forward that off, it's going to pop up an alert box. Hopefully, didn't do it because what happened is we actually evaluated it first. Let's set it here, and let's reload the page, and let's go into our application and our bad value. Let's change it to alert document.domain, and then run that and forward that off now. And boom, we get the XSS pop up. That's just by doing a local. That's just by doing a local session XSS. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to expand this, and we're going to do another trickier one. This one took a while to actually research and actually do, but let's go back to we're going to do a post message one. Eval. I already showed you this one in a previous video on the JavaScript for hackers, but we're going to be doing something a little bit more advanced. We're going to be using our proof of concept tool called Replit, and we're going to be proving now we can actually escalate this to DOM XSS. So let's actually now let's read this. So what's happened is create an event listener message. So if we go to our global listeners, there should be a message there, and that's going to do an eval on the object. It's going to validate the object. And it's creating a post message handler function. That's a callback function. And then it's going to, when it actually listens for that event, and when it gets fired, it's going to go to this post message handler, and then it's going to set the message data to a variable called content, and then it's going to validate that content. So this is pretty easy. What we need to do is we need to do a post message message, and what this takes is a data that we're going to put in, so message. So we type in foobar, and then it's going to take in the origin. So we can just do the origin that it's come from, but we want to do it from everywhere. If we want to change it to an asterisk, that means every origin. We set that up and forward that off, and like we just submit that message, it's going to evaluate the object, and it's going to come with the value foobar, and it does it successfully. But foobar is not defined. So what we need to do now is we need to create an XSS payload. So we can simply just type in alert document.domain. I always use document.domain in BugBountys, and if we run that and we forward that off, and as you can see, we get XSS that fires. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to grab this, and we want to use a program called Replit. You can also watch Tom Nom Nom's stream to help you understand what I'm doing here. I'm just going to make this so it doesn't actually show that light. So if I just go back a bit, there we go, much better. Okay, so this one here is a program called Replit. This is how you would usually come up with a proof of concept. This is how you usually come up with proof of concepts. We're just going to call this instance Pale Secret Reality, and we're going to create a Replit with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And what we want to do is we want to create an iframe just before the script, because if we do an iframe afterwards, it's not going to work because we're actually executing this script and then it's going to do the iframe. We want to do it before because we want to edit JavaScript. So it's an iframe. We'll change the ID to target, and we'll just close the iframe tag. As you can see, we're doing HTML markup language. We're using HTML to actually program this iframe. HTML is the type of markup language which just makes the layout, makes the website layout, the bodies, makes the layout of the website, the design of the website basically. CSS is cascade style and shit. This is what comes up. This is how we do our design and stuff. And then JavaScript is where we find our funky vulnerabilities. Then what we want to do is we want to create a proof of concept where we can send the victim a link and it will execute JavaScript. Now this could be like a JavaScript that will steal cookies, but the thing is, most websites these days have HTTP only, which we can't steal cookies, but we might be able to do more things. We might be able to redirect them to sites. We might be able to, download malicious software to their machine. We might be able to inject a beef hook and get access to a browser, or insert malware, do all sorts of stuff. So let's start off by, or we could bypass same origin policy and do things that they can do on a website. Let's just set a variable called target. Now, how we set up variables in JavaScript, we just use the keyword var, and that will define a variable for us. And then we want to set equal because we want to store something inside this target. We want to store an object inside the variable. So we'll go document get element by ID. So sorry, we want to go document, and we want to do dot notation to get the element by ID. And the value of what we set the iframe as was the ID target. ID is kind of like the identifier. This is how we get objects inside of HTML. So we want to get this target and we want to set up this iframe in JavaScript, and we've done it here. Now what we want to do is we want to set up an event listener, because we want to listen for the post message, and then we want to execute our post message with that JavaScript payload. And to do that, we need to use the load event. So when it loads, the page loads, we're going to execute a callback, and this callback will be in this function here. This callback, and then we're going to go target, and we want the content window, which is the window that we're going to be in, which is the toxic dome, and we're going to do a post message, and then we're going to do alert document, basically going to do what we put in here, which was this one here. Let's put all that. And then we'll go here and into our replit instance, and then we'll paste that in there. And then we want to set up the source. So we want the page to be the one we're going to exploit, which is that one there, like so. Now if we run this, what's going to happen is we're going to get JavaScript that pops up. This is a perfect proof of concept we can put in the bug bounty program. We open up a new window, and boom, we get XSS. So we'd set this up. We'd basically copy this and put in our proof of concept. So for a rough report, we could do just basic report writing. We could go, hi, I would like to report a bug. I would like to report a DOM XSS in the post message. So how would we write it? And then you would redo that, and then we'd come up with a description. So this 3 hashes is like a way to make the font larger. So we go description. We can talk about the vulnerability. So DOM XSS gets we could say cross-site scripting. We could actually go. We can execute JavaScript by using post message with an iframe. And we could put just do that, and then we could put the proof of concept, which would go step 1. We used the asterisk, which would be like a bullet marker. So bullets are like a bullet point, and we go step 1. We could explain how we created the proof of concept. We could just say something like click on this proof of concept page, and this will be like our page we set up here, which is that one we actually we exploited. And if it's going to still work, let's just run this again. Should work again. And then what we do is we'll grab this link here, and we'll put that into the report, and we'll say, yep, click on this link, and we could say JavaScript. We could say alert box will pop up with the domain name. And then we could put mitigations. For an example, we could put mitigations, and they usually in HackerOne they provide you provide impact. So we could put the impact there. Mitigations, we could say make sure to sanitize users applied input. Make sure to filter any data being make sure this escapes the greater than quotes and less than symbols. Blah 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 blah. Make sure you use proper libraries, whatever. That's a basic proof of concept you would put in a report. But just remember, the thing with triage teams, they just want a quick proof of concept. You don't need to write this huge detailed report, because what they usually do behind the back end when they triage a report is they will create the big report for the company. So you don't really need to create a big report. You can do one if you want. You'll probably get more points for that, but I don't need to. There's a good video that Katie made up for that. Now what we want to do is we want to move on to the next challenge. Okay. The next challenge is going to be a little bit more harder, and what we're going to be doing is a different post message, but this one's going to be eval. No, that's not the right one. This one's going to be in HTML. Now this one uses a thing called JSON parse. Now if you look at the HTML code here, this is JSON parse thing here. We've still got a post message here, so we're still going to use that. In order to do this, we need to do post message, and we need to create some JavaScript. So we need to create some JSON to execute the JavaScript. Now, I looked everywhere on this site, everywhere online. I could not find the right one. And then I so happened to come across the right one. And I was excited. I was like, yes. So what we need to do is we need to create an element. So we use this. We use this here. We use these we use these angled brackets to get these curly brackets to get an object, and then we want to thanks for the sub, real Samsung, or I can't say your name. Thanks for the sub, I appreciate it, you're the best. So we want to use this one here. We'll just sort of type in this, and we want to do that. This is how we start off. So we use these curly brackets to open up the JSON object, and we put that little slash there, and then we want to put in our tag. So we're going to use create element. So we're just going to follow each one. So create element in HTML, then HTML, and then JavaScript get executed. So I want to go create element. If I can type for it today, element, and then we want to go. Want to close this. So I want to go. We first also need to put in that. We want to close it like that, and then we want to go that, which will we want to do the next one. So we want to go. Next one will be in HTML, or if I can type again, I think it's inner HTML. Yep. Sorry, inner HTML. I want to close this, so boom, boom. In HTML, then we want to do next one, which will be HTML. And then this is when we put out a payload. Now, since it's doing it in HTML, we can't just put alert 1. Alert 1 is for eval. So with eval, you can't put script alert 1 or script alert script document.domain / script. We need to put just with eval, we just usually put alert 1 or alert document domain. Just put the alert. We just put the function that we want to execute. With this, we have to put a fancy script. Actually, we can do image tags. We need image. Image source equals X on error, and then we put the alert document. This might come up with an error, but we'll fix that. Domain. Then we'll close that, and then we want to go this one, and then we want to close it, and then close that. So that's what we need to do. Forgot about that. So we need to actually put that. Oh, I thought I was going to do that. Just wait a minute. Bear with me. That, and then we want to go here. That's going to be there, and then it's going to be there, and then that's going to be there. And we just need to make sure that these are, so the quote goes first, and then the slash, and then the quote goes first, and then the slash. We always need to put the quote first. So here. Sorry, the quote goes first in this one too. Pretty tedious this, but we get used to it. The quote always needs to go first. And then we want to do the origin, which is asterisk, and then we execute that. Make sure that it worked. It should come up with a I didn't do a JavaScript, I didn't do a JSON object error. Boom, boom, and then we get JavaScript executed. Awesome. That's how you do the JSON one. That took me a good hour to do last time, but now I finally figured it out. I solved the challenge and I was happy. I'm just going to go on a quick break. I'm going to get some more coffee and I'm going to read some messages. I'll be right back shortly. Stay tuned. I'm going to do some more challenges. It's going to be freaking awesome. Stay tuned and I will talk to you soon.
bleeding, and all you can see is red. Till you discover it is within each other to forgive and make amends. If I had known then, or what I know now, I wouldn't have said what I said. I took the long road, thought I'd be better on my own. Sometimes what's right is wrong instead. 'Cause I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one. And I can't wait to see you again.
Oh, I didn't have my mic enabled. Shit. Okay, the whole time I didn't have my mic enabled. Okay, let's just, turn up Mr. Let's just, what we can do now is we can just, basically we'll start off where I paused because I didn't have my mic enabled. That was very bad. So let's just, what we're doing now is we're doing a, document.write, challenge. I'm going to go over what the document write challenge is. So Control-Shift-I is to get our terminal, our console, and we execute this payload here, which should pop up XSS. What's happening here is we're doing a post message. Obviously, we need to reload the page. That's why it's not working. So we're doing a post message. What's happening is in the code we're doing we're having the source. In the code there's the source, and there's what we're doing is we're parsing JSON. And we need to specially craft this JSON object, and then we're putting the URL because after URL, and we're putting the brute logic URL because we want it to actually fetch a URL JavaScript, and that's what it's doing. Let's read the page and let's come up with the proof of concept. So we're going to just copy this payload into a replit. I forgot I didn't have my mic enabled the whole time. That's embarrassing, really. I think the first half I did, but then the second half that was the reason why I wasn't getting viewers. Because I had my mic disabled when I went on a pause break. Shit. That was my bad. Hey, we make mistakes, don't we? We always make mistakes, but hey, shit happens, you know. So what we're doing is we're just copying this payload, this payload here, which is an iframe that sets up. It sets up an iframe and it fetches the source target. So the source target is this URL here. And then we're putting that as our source. So we're going to put 2 quotes and we're going to put that as a source. And then when unload, we're doing a content post message. We're posting a message to the domain, every domain, and we're putting that as the object URL, and then our brute logic URL there, and we're putting that in there, and then we're just getting rid of the rest right there. That's going to basically work now. Sometimes you might need to reload a page and it will work. And hopefully it didn't work because we need to put this here. Now hopefully it works now. No, it doesn't work. Okay, what are you doing wrong? Let's have a look what I've done wrong. So we've done that. Let's try to get rid of that and then go back. And then what we're going to do is we're going to see if this works. Hopefully it does work. Obviously we need to reload the page because sometimes that happens. We need to reload the page. Now, that's strange. We've got document right. We've got the URL. It works in the console, but it doesn't work here. Why is the reason for that? Because we want to come up with a proof of concept. Our goal is to get a proof of concept working. Done that. That worked fine. But it's not working in our proof of concept script. Let's just play around with it a bit. I've got document write as the source, unload, and I've just realized we need to close the iframe. That's probably why it's not working. Let's see if it works now, maybe. No, it doesn't want to work. We got that. Do I have to do quote first, maybe? Yeah, usually I need a quote first. I don't know why that didn't work before, but we need a quote first. I'm pretty sure the quote needs to go first. Let's try now. It doesn't got the open up that. Do I need to put that? That you did that. And don't need to close, do I? Okay, let's try that. Hello viewer, I'm just trying to figure out this Dome XSS challenge. I've done this before. I'm just trying to come up with the proof of concept. So what we've done is we've looked at the code of this page. We've been actually doing public firing range on Google to practice our Dome XSS skills. We're going to look deep. We're going to apply this to BugBountys. And as you can see here, we've got this source code where we're doing a document write. We're obviously parsing a JSON object and then doing a document write. So just by providing this URL here, this post message, we can execute JavaScript and it'll execute. But the challenge is we need to, that's not just a valid bug, because we need to actually come up with a proof of concept with Replit. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out ways to actually do this. And I think we did this. We have got this this here, which we applied for our other challenge, but we're just trying to come up with the way to actually do this with a document write. I think maybe this will work, but we've got URL here. That was right. And then we've got this as the second payload, so let's go across. That one's the second payload. And then we basically want to get rid of pretty much all of this here. And we're going to have to put that there. And I thought that would have worked, but it's not working for some reason. So that's what I'm actually trying to figure out. But I've got it before my script.js. I've got nothing in my script.js. For some reason, it's not loading the page. It's not loading the proof of concept. I think it could be a bug with the program, maybe, or I'm not sure. It should work. Let's have a look and see if it actually is being injected in, because it would tell us if it's been injected in or not. And actually, it hasn't. So, hasn't been injected in as if we do a post message. It should in the console, but for some reason, it's not doing it. It's not working here. So, let's have a look what we're doing wrong. So, doing it on load. We're doing content window post message. We're doing that. Doing that. This doesn't work when we do this for some odd reason, so we're not doing that because we don't want to do that again. And then, do you know why? We need HTTPS. Now, hopefully it works. Please, please. Yes, it works. Awesome. So we needed to do HTTPS. That was our error. So we got it working. Awesome. And that's, again, you'd put that in the bug bounty program and say, hey, we've got this proof of concept here. Fix the bug, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to the next one. I'm going to now put some music on. The whole time I had no bloody mic on, so let's do the whole lot again. I don't like the music on because I can't actually hear my voice in my... Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to... don't like music in there. Music's too hard to actually listen to what I'm saying. Next challenge we're going to do is we're going to go over we're just going to go over the in HTML one more time because I think that's when the audio cut out and I didn't do the mic recording. So let's just do that one again. So again, let's Control-Shift-I, read the bit of the code. So what it's doing is it's basically adding a callback and when we reload the page, it's creating a message callback, so that's a post message, and then it's going to have an event handler. Then once that's fired, it's going to call this function, this event handler, and then it's going to parse in the data that we put in. It's going to create a div, and it's going to set the inner HTML to the div HTML element. Now, this is actually the content of that we pass through. It's going to set inner HTML. It's very bad because inner HTML is a source, and we can actually take advantage of this and do the following. I'm just going to make this bigger so you can actually see what's going on. And what I've realized is you can't see the actual console. So what we're going to be doing is post message. So we're going to go post message, and we're going to do this one here. And what should happen is, whoops, if I can just see what I'm doing. Forgot the whole time you can't see that. This one here. And reload. Let's go to the forward a bit. So just forward it off. Doesn't like that. So what happens is we're not getting the right payload in here. And I think it's because we need to put the quotes first, like this one here. Boom and boom and boom. We get XSS. And what I did is I can't proof of concept in Replit. Go back to read that if you want. Watch that if you want to understand it. I'm going to get rid of these breakpoints. At least now you're actually learning properly. I'm doing repetition here, so I'm going to go over a couple of times so you get repetition. I fucked up the first time, so it's all good. And I swore, hope I don't get demonetized. Now, I did that one there. I did the document write one, which is basically you do the same thing. Document write is same thing. Do this one here. That one there, and that one there, and it should access JavaScript. What we're doing here is it's fetching a source. We need to put the URL as the object, and it's fetching a source. That should cause access. Now let's go to another one, which we're going to do now, is event triggering. So event triggering eval. Now remember what I said. Eval requires. You can't really see the term, but can I actually put this over here maybe, or over here? No, I can't. Can I maybe pop this out? Well, I can just go here. I think the whole time it did work. So with this one, it's got an event trigger. Let's have a look at the JavaScript here. And what it's doing is, again, we go to global listeners, and it's got a window. Nothing interesting. What we're going to look at is that what it's doing is it's got a button that we're going to submit to the website, to the server, and it's submit the button. It's got a empty variable called payload, and once we submit the button, it's going to call a function, and it's going to set the payload to whatever you put into the text field, and it's going to defer the payload, so it's going to evaluate the payload. But remember, this won't work. We don't need the console for this one. If we just do a simple, let me make this bigger. We just do a script alert one. Or I like to do document.domain, obviously. It's not going to work. The reason why is because that's not how eval works. Eval requires just a function to evaluate. That's not going to work. But the interesting thing is we do alert document.domain. Obviously, it's going to evaluate the object. And we get XSS. The reason why is because eval requires a function to evaluate, not just a single, not just JavaScript, just requires a function. And that one was an easy one. Again, that's just reflected XSS, but in DOM instead. Let's try another one. Let's try, I showed you session storage. That was a tricky one, but we got that in the end. Let's try in HTML. Now, this in HTML is when we need to specify the JavaScript. So we need to go image source equals X on error. So we need to actually specify HTML code here. On error, alert, and we can do document.domain, and then just close that, and that should work. Awesome, we got that working. Okay, next one is we've got document write, which could be a little bit trickier. Again, it could be just as simple as a script. Let's have a look at the source first. We always want to look at the source code to see what's going on. So let's have a look. It requires, again, I'm assuming a URL again. Again, it's just the same code, but except it's a document write instead. Very easy. We can just simply type in a script, alert, document. This is a very dangerous one because the thing is, it's going to be stored cross-site scripting. Let's go actually right to the page. Not stored, but it's going to write to the page. So that's going to write to the page. You could even do something like this. I'll show you a really cool thing. This is really cool. We could go. Hopefully it works. I don't think it gets reflected into the page. Let's have a look. H1. Hello. Yeah, so it gets reflected in the page. Hello. This is very bad because we do this. It's gonna be like a defacement type thing. We can do defacements. We could do like if we want to actually do a stored XSS, we could go image source, and then we could or we could go href, and then like source equals evil websites at evil.com, and then close that, and well, that didn't work. We could do like a redirect. So if it redirects to another website, and usually when the page loads, it'll redirect to an evil website. It's a defacement. Okay, let's have a look at another one. I've gone for like nearly an hour. We'll go for an hour, roughly. Let's have a look at another one. And we're going to look at, what's the other one we can do? Local storage. Let's have a look at local storage. We did local session storage. Let's have a look at local storage. This one will be an easy one because basically looking into local storage instead. So if we go to here, application, local storage should contain a value. Let's have a look at the value, what it will be. Should contain a value, bad value. Let's have a look. Let's reload the page again. And it should contain bad value. So let's just set a breakpoint where we set the payload up and then reload the page. And then again, just go to our application, our local storage, bad value. Again, it's evaluating it. So we just type in alert, document.domain, and then boom, XSS should get fired, and easy as that. Cool. Awesome as. And this is used to like fetch stuff from the local storage. Yeah, so we could have easily fetched a bad value too. So I think we can do this by let's have a look. Set it again, reload the page. I think what we can do is we can set a Nexus payload to go alert, and then I think it is session, and then it will be like bad value. Let's see if this works. Bad value, and then close that, and then pop that alert box, and it will come up with. Nah, it doesn't work. I'm not sure, but there's a post about it, but I didn't like the session is not defined. Okay. Oh, do you know why? We actually need to go. I think it's like storage. Yeah, storage, local storage. They're basically going to copy this. The page. And then we want to go application. Boom, boom, boom. Alert though. Alert. And that should print out. It just prints out that. But usually it's used to fetch stuff from a fetch your stuff as well. Again, let's go over what we've done. We've actually done DOM XSS. We've read JavaScript. We've looked very deep for sinks and sources to find JavaScript vulnerabilities. And we're looking for things that we can have control of in JavaScript code, and we're trying to exploit it. JavaScript is really useful. If we go to like yahoo.com, we can actually look at all the network traffic, all the reload the page. Just press Ctrl+Shift+I. We've got this thing called we've got all the network traffic here. We can sort by JavaScript, and it has all the JavaScript files. Now this is easier than using Burp, because with Burp you have to export it out and it's a little bit tedious. So with this we can just go API key and find API keys. Using like just a simple search, and it will search for all the JavaScript for API keys. XHR stands for XML HTTP request, also known as AJAX, and this is used to fetch remote files using JavaScript. With that, we can usually find our DOM XSS vulnerabilities. Pretty much that's how it works. I hope you all enjoyed this stream. I'm going to head off very soon. I'll be streaming again very soon. Maybe tomorrow or whatnot. I might just go on. I might just do one more challenge later on, and it will be about or not later on, but I'll do probably tomorrow, and it will be going over some port speaker challenges and learning from that. Again, if you want to look at my course that we've got on Udemy, Udemy has a course that we've provided. There's a lot of people already joined, but it's called if I just go here. Go to the course landing page. It's actually called Practical Bug Bounty Techniques Complete Course. You can get a coupon, so you can get a discount. Has all our interesting topics, like even Android exploitation. That's really cool. I might actually do a full-on stream about Android exploitation too one day. Maybe we can do that tomorrow. Maybe. And then I've got this my page. You can get some swag. You can get like nice cool merchandise. You can get like this evil hacker t-shirt. You can just donate to me if you really want to support me and you think I'm a good guy and you want to help me. There's lots of cool stuff. So yeah, anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bro out, man. And